Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now July 9th of 2020, and ever since the original release of The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans around the world really walked away from the Star Wars franchise and were left very skeptical about the future of this massive Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm, and exactly how both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek would handle everything moving forward, and whether or not they could really get the job done. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the one thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that they are very much hard at work on developing over 10 years worth of Star Wars projects for Disney Plus alone. You know, let that sink in for a second there. That is, of course, just TV series on Disney Plus, completely separate from the actual Star Wars movies. You can just imagine exactly what they have in store for the Star Wars franchise when it comes to the entire rest of this decade. Now, everything related to Kathleen Kennedy, thankfully her creative control was taken away not so long ago for a majority of the Star Wars projects, all thanks to Bob Chapek, the new Disney CEO, that is being helped out by the original Disney CEO, Bob Iger, of course. You know, Bob Iger is helping out Chapek as we speak throughout this global crisis, and he's also helping him and showing him the ropes to becoming the proper CEO that he needs to be for, of course, Disney as a whole. Now, when we look at Star Wars, obviously this franchise does indeed need fixing. A lot of additions need to be made to this franchise in order to really bring it on the same exact level as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know, pretty much is, and that's exactly what Iger and Chapek want to do with Star Wars. Now, what's really intriguing all has to do with Kathleen Kennedy, where now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with the sequel trilogy, they are now primarily focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as their new Star Wars universe in general, in order to, of course, focus on the future of Star Wars and exactly where it's all going. Now, currently, it's described that new Disney CEO, Bob Chapek, has been busy canceling many of Kathleen Kennedy's original projects that were slated for release throughout the entire decade, and that behind the scenes, Kathleen Kennedy has been getting very angry and frustrated with the Star Wars fandom and both Bob Iger and Chapek. Kennedy is described to have gotten so frustrated to the point where it is actually described to be the main reason as to why she plans to leave Lucasfilm sometime in late 2020 that will go into full effect in late 2021. So let's not forget about the fact here that Kathleen Kennedy really was going to destroy Star Wars, essentially, if it weren't for Bob Chapek. She was going to actually do far worse things than ever before, you know, worse things than that of The Last Jedi. Now, as of now, Bob Chapek is canceling many of the High Republic era projects that Kathleen Kennedy originally created and is now being put back to work under new creatives like Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and even George Lucas. The High Republic stories that got canceled were said to be too extreme and, of course, was too far as Kennedy's agenda went, and that it actually would have ruined the spirit of Star Wars and that what Star Wars really means at heart. Now, Kennedy wanted to change Star Wars with the High Republic, and that now that specific plan of hers is transferred over to the Leslie Headland Star Wars TV series for Disney Plus, where she will be throwing in her personal agendas into that specific project for Star Wars. So here's the thing about Kathleen Kennedy, in case you guys did not know, and this is very, very important, is that she is actually going to take it all out on the Leslie Headland Star Wars TV show. Now that she really can't go anywhere else to throw out her personal agenda, it's all going to go into this one massive project for Disney Plus that's really going to be a big TV show. Now, the reason as to why it's going to be a big TV show is that they're going to market it a specific way to be a main TV series. It's going to be an all-female-led Star Wars TV show with tons of identity politics, real-world issues, and personal agendas that's going to focus less so on the actual story and character development. Now, here's the thing. I think that it's great that Chapek really put an end to a lot of the High Republic era stories and how a lot of them were canceled or delayed and are being reworked by George, John, and Dave behind the scenes. It's one of the main reasons as to why a lot of the books were delayed and a lot of the original projects for the High Republic, whether it be movies or TV shows, also are scrapped and are now being strictly reworked into only TV series in live-action form. So the thing about this, obviously Kathleen Kennedy has a big issue with Bob Chapek really changing everything over at Lucasfilm, you know, changing the stakes when it comes to the future of Star Wars, and he's really essentially creating his own image. He's creating his own legacy, which really is a good thing. It just shows us fans that he cares about the Star Wars fandom, that he really wants to make great change for the Star Wars fandom, and ultimately, when we look at the Kathleen Kennedy era, as I like to call it, you know, the sequel trilogy movies and the spin-off films, is that there was a lot of problems with the production of a lot of those actual projects. You know, even Rogue One had issues when it came to reshoots, and Solo had the biggest issues by far. That was the biggest problem for the Kathleen Kennedy era. So, with that being said, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.